I'm calling the meeting to order. It looks like Robbie just volunteered to be note taker.
I just
Thank you,
noticed
Robbie.
that. Okay.
Always appreciated. So then after that, any adjustments to the agenda? Nope. I've put together a pretty simple agenda this time. I mean, we're kind of proceeding on some stuff. We're not picking up a lot of new threads, but we'll see if there's anything that wants to get picked up along the way. So with no adjustments, I don't see any public, Jerry being emeritus, so I guess we don't have to worry about a public comment period. And that means that we can move on to review and approve minutes from October 11th, 2022. I put those up on our on our Google. Wow, I like the strikeout business. This is very fan. This is great.
I'm not intentionally
Um,
doing that. I think it's just happening. So I don't know what the deal is with that.
Oh, okay. Well, so far so good. Maybe we've got you on suggesting or commenting mode as opposed to direct edit mode. For so I'll
Oh,
check.
I might
We'll have.
be. Yeah, I'm doing this out of my own account, so I don't know if that's the right thing or not.
Yeah,
But
I bet it's thinking that you're not one of the people that it recognizes, so it's only letting you do stuff like that. So that's all right. I see all of your stuff is showing up as comments on the side, so we'll go with it. Ah, Steve is here too. I don't know if maybe he can get you up as a. We're waiting for. That's interesting. Waiting for Steve. Let's see. Nope. Don't need to answer that. I was just wondering. I didn't know whether it might be Lori or something. If she wasn't able to get on for some reason, she hasn't. I think she's still planning to join us. I know Steve was in touch with her at one point. So, hi, Steve. Are you? Oh, he's an S now. So, Steve, are you there?
I'm here, but for some reason my video's not coming up.
That's all right. We know what you look like.
That's good.
Always appreciate staring at your ugly mug, but we'll have to do without it this evening. Steve, do you know Robbie is got seems to be he's our note taker tonight, but he seems to be only have comment access. Is there any way you can set him up with edit access real quick, easily? I know you do that a lot
Yeah,
more
I'll
easily
go
than I
look.
do.
I'll go look.
Is this your personal what account is this, Robbie? I didn't hear
this,
a word of that.
sorry about that. This is my personal Gmail account.
But I thought we had you up
Yeah,
on that,
that's
but maybe
probably
not. So we can set him up for an edit access.
I'm going there.
Great. Well, I'll go ahead and keep going in the meantime. So I posted our minutes to our from the previous meeting to our Google Docs, Google Drive. I don't know if anyone has had a chance to look at them, review them, say they're good, bad, or indifferent. I would entertain a motion to accept them and entertain any modifications as we go.
So moved.
Yeah, I move to approve the minutes or a second.
Okay. I don't know. We kind of I don't think we need to second the minutes or something, but anyway, any discussion, any comments or changes that people think we ought to make to the October 11th minutes? Hearing none, I guess I'll call for a vote. All in favor of accepting the minutes as submitted, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, the minutes are accepted. We now have final minutes from October 11th. So I wanted to, let's see,
Can I just ask Robbie a question?
yes,
Yep,
I assume that you're editing the minutes and not the agenda?
I'm editing the minutes.
yeah,
Correct.
he is. I can see it coming up on my screen here. At least it says minutes. It has the people's, the people's names and stuff, and it also doesn't have the link in it. So that should be reasonable, I guess. So maybe we can just sort of race through our agenda tonight, and I'll go have an early dinner. That sounds all right. Steve,
That sounds
before we do that, have you been in touch with Lori beyond just that simple exchange that I saw?
No.
Okay, because she didn't come to the last meeting, and I'm not seeing her at this meeting, obviously. I'll get in touch with her and see if she still really wants to do this. I don't know. Maybe this is not working for her, that kind of thing. Maybe we can figure it out. Anyway, I was hopeful. Okay, so moving right along to program updates. Hey, it's just about the right time, too. Only a minute late, a minute early, or something like that. I was wondering if we could go through a few of those. Dwight, could you just let us know where we stand on the pre-audit program and where we're going with it and that sort of thing?
John took all of the responses that we've had so far, put them on a spreadsheet. So we've logged those by the time they were received. I tried to set up two this Friday. One was not able to make it, and I'm going in order. The other requested a different time, which is more in the middle of the day because of napping children. So we have one scheduled for 11:30 this Friday. We've finished two so far, both Rick Hayes and Andrew Fitzgerald's, and going to work through them as much as I have time to work through them. So,
But if you
should
do
we
it
be
on the
trying?
weekends, you get more help.
what's that?
If you schedule them on the weekends, you get more help. Dwight
Yeah,
keeps
I know,
wanting
but
me to take Fridays off to do this, but I keep
I
telling
know.
him I'm not.
There's some that are only going to be available on the weekend, John, but I have Fridays off, so I want to get through them if we can. And deer season
Okay.
starts next month, so
I knew that was in your calculations.
I
yeah.
thought deer season had already started.
It has, but I don't fully participate until this weekend.
I see. Okay, deer season for you,
Yes.
personal deer season, as opposed to just
In general.
statutory deer season. So we'll just go ahead and proceed on that and get those in. At some point, we ought to discuss whether we want to try to record what's going on or make any note of in any kind of rudimentary way. I don't obviously records will be available sort of internally, but if we want to try to keep track of how things are going with the results we're getting and that sort of thing to see how people are making out. That might be helpful at some points.
That would require some follow up.
I can.
I don't
I
believe
can
there
do
will be any follow up from the first one because the results of our audit showed that there was some one party might do it, the other party was dead set against it. So
Yeah, but I mean, we could record even that. I mean, that just know what we've just got a basic sense of what's going on and how well it's operating and that sort of thing. So as at one point we talked about kind of just tracking our progress toward getting the town weatherized, sort of thing, as an actual data point as opposed to sort of a pseudo data point. But that's something we might.
I will begin to ask the homeowners a question that during the process, if they're willing to, if we follow up with them in either 6 months or a year, see where they're at. The spreadsheet will allow us to tell when we did it, when we visited, and then we'll obviously have records of the audits as we write them. So I would think that most would be willing to talk to us 6 months down the year to see if
you would think, yeah.
So
Dwight, is that spreadsheet available on our Google Drive somewhere?
it is. What's it called, John?
I can. Oh, I can't tell. It says something like weatherization. Hold on, I can tell you exactly where it is.
Robbie, can I talk to you in the meantime?
Yeah.
What, in the upper right below the share button, do you have a little pencil or do you have the suggesting icon?
I have suggesting. Editing is grayed out and won't let me click on that.
Okay, refresh your screen.
Okay. Yep, we're good now. Thank you, Steve.
Now try.
Yep, we're good.
Hold on, let's
Perfect.
see. All right. So it's on Google Drive. Oh, it's right on the homepage, right? So it's called UEC Weatherization Schedule. Fourth line down.
Right. Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah. Maybe we could move that over to the weatherization directory at some point.
Yep.
Gotcha.
I can do
I
that.
can do that,
Okay.
or
All right.
whomever. That's fine. Great. Thank you. I'll take a look at that a little later or something like that. So that said, do we have anything more we want to talk about that, or anything we need to cover on that?
I just wanted to ask how many are in the pipeline?
We have 14 names in the pipeline. So we
That's
did
a lot.
this spring. We did a front porch forum, and we got 2, Rick Hay and Andrew Fitzgerald. We completed those both. We did another front porch forum, and in 2 days we had 14 people. I think timing is everything. In the spring, nobody is thinking about weatherizing. In the fall, obviously, or the late summer, obviously there were a number of people. So yeah, 14.
Okay.
So
I also realized we didn't put the schoolhouse on here either. So
no,
we also helped did one on the schoolhouse as well. Gave them some suggestions.
Yeah, that would be great. Might as well put it in there so we have
Yeah.
information about it. Yeah, great. So if we're done with that one, we can move on to the next one. I was wondering if Ravi could comment. Ravi has done yeoman service on doing something with MERP. I confess my understanding of MERP is not exhaustive, and I thought at one point we had talked about it, and then we weren't going to pursue it, and now we do pursue it. And so, where do we stand with that? And what do you need from us, Ravi?
Yeah, so we have officially decided to pursue it. Select board approved it. Brad was able to get me town building information, square footage, fuel, electrical usage, which Ann Janda, if I'm pronouncing her name correctly,
Yeah, that's right.
helped me submit. And so, yeah, everything's been submitted to the state. Now they're sorting through, I think, 200 towns submitted applications, so pretty much the entire state. They're sorting through all those applications now, and they'll follow up with us when they're ready. And the next steps will be to audit the town buildings, and we submitted for town hall, town garage, the schoolhouse, and the post office.
So basically, what we get out of this is an audit at this point.
At the very least, we'll get audits of those facilities. I believe we automatically qualify for a $4,000 mini grant. I don't know what that can go to or will go to, but keep everyone posted as I learn more. And then the full picture is once we're rocking and rolling, it's up to $500,000 per town and municipality for energy resilience initiatives.
So do you have any thoughts as to how, obviously that must be like a phase 2 or something like that?
Yeah, so they're hoping to get the audit started probably January of this year. I got to imagine it's going to take them a few months to finish those. It will certainly be a rolling process, but after the audits are completed, then we get suggestions for improvements, and then we build upon that.
Okay, sounds good. Any questions or comments on MERP?
Just to thank Robbie for
Okay.
his work.
Yes, absolutely, Robbie. Thank you so much for doing that. Maybe we'll parlay it into a $500,000 ground source heat pump or something. Who knows? I think we could actually get away with $100,000 ground source heat pump, although it may have gone up in the meantime. But we'll see where that all goes. So if we're done with that one, I will try to tackle something about this the next couple of items. One is the town hall solar. I have been pursuing. I got a little bit of a late start on it, but then I started trying to get in touch with Brad too, because we had talked about talking about who we needed to talk to and so on and so forth. You may recall we had decided we were interested in a structural solution in Moore Park as opposed to on the town hall property ground mount kind of situation. So so I've been trying to reach Brad, and Robbie you had actually gotten in touch with Tom Moore, right? And
Yeah, and he's all about it. Yeah. So if you
yeah,
recall, Tom and his brother John are hoping to build a pavilion in the park for their mom,
yes,
and Tom thinks
And
it'd be perfect.
I talked to Anton, and Anton was aware of the project, and he is in support.
Cool. Great.
great. And Anton is rec.
Rec department.
Yep, good. Because finally I got a hold of Brad, and as it turns out, this thing is actually it's further along than I thought, and it's being handled by Rec, and Seth Friedman is actually honchoing it. And I received some information from Brad about locating a structure and some information about the nature of the structure involved. And we got together this afternoon at 1 to sort of stomp around in Moore Park and take a look at things. And I think that some of the stuff there looked fairly interesting. I'm going to try to share a screen with folks because I didn't really have time to put it up in time for everybody to look at. Let me see if I can pull this off. Share a screen. Okay, so what? Window. Yes, this screen I want to share. So let's see what I can do with it. Okay, Brad put together an analysis of siting possibilities in Moore Park, where such a structure might go, and so on and so forth. And what you see here in red is the 100-year floodplain for the Browns River, and in yellow is the 100-year floodplain for the Mill Brook. And then he's also in dotted lines put in the 100-foot riparian buffer from roughly the top of bank in both instances. You can see what's left available to us is this triangle here that I'm outlining is basically where anything can be sited in Moore Park. So, we were taking a look at that. The thought process heretofore had been to locate the shed. Let me get a different one. I'll show you what they actually. It says I was supposed to stop sharing, but I guess I didn't. Oh, there we go. So did the sharing stop when I did that?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to pass along now, at least for the moment, what they had looked at. Whoops, that's not got it up there. So I want to. Now, where the heck are you? You are. Let me do this one and see about sharing this screen. Where are you? You. Come on now. So they've been looking into doing a. There we go. Can you see that now?
Yep.
Now that's interesting. When I go back there, I do not see it, but that's all right. If you can see it, that's fine with me. That's all I ask for. Whoops, that's not what I'm looking for. What am I looking for? I'm looking for you. Okay. They have been thinking in terms of a pavilion roughly like this. The dimensions are 16 by 24. And, it's a post and beam timber structure. They're looking at this kind of peaked roof sort of thing and so on and so forth, and locating that in Moore Park, roughly like this. This is what apparently the Moores have been talking about, and Seth has been involved in it, and Brad has been involved in it, and everybody's all basically pretty good with that. So that said, let me come back here for a moment, and I'll share what I was sure I should have shared that one first. Doing this wrong again. Come on, Michael. There we go. Get that guy back. Oh, I see. I probably could have just done it without stopping sharing, but never mind. I learn as I go. So let me share this window. So, right, they have been thinking previously to locate it about where you see this little rectangle here. Can you see what I'm pointing to? And so on. And that actually is a very poor solar orientation for what would be kind of going on. But we talked about it today, and right now there seems to be some interest that actually a much better orientation would be kind of diagonally at this end of this little triangle, and that would give it basically a pretty strong southeast exposure. Not ideal, but it would be a heck of a lot better than what they've got there, which is kind of like almost nothing, and also give a much better view of what's going on. So there seemed to be a certain amount of enthusiasm for doing that. So everybody got all they want of this. I'll put this up on our.
Actually, question before you take that away.
Yeah.
So is the 100-foot buffer hard and fast? Is that something that you get a waiver about, or?
Well, apparently we can get a waiver, but they are not real big on waivers. And actually, that siting is a pretty good one for that. What it does is it basically opens up kind of an entire kind of view shed into the park, and it also opens up basically the view from the pavilion is the town hall as opposed to kind of the scrub, you know, river edge and this kind of house down at the end of this house and so on and so forth. It's and also it's a mountain view associated with that, so it's really a very nice view, and I think it would be a very attractive implementation. People, I think, would look at it and say, wow, that's good. I felt pretty good about it, when I was down there. Brad, if anybody wants to look at it, Brad pegged 4 kind of fiberglass kind of wands where the rough corners, we estimated the rough corners would be, so you could take a look at it and see how it would look too, looking from there and so on. So
Michael,
that would give us.
Is Anton also involved in this?
I don't know whether Anton is involved in it or not. I know that Seth apparently is. When I talked to Brad, I said, Brad, I'm interested in doing this, and he said, well, Seth is handling it, and we're meeting tomorrow. When I finally got a hold of him yesterday, and so I finally found out were meeting at 1:00, and so I went down there, and that's as far as I've gotten with it. Yeah. But I assume basically the entire rec committee is handling it.
Okay, all right. I assume that. I'm just also thinking about, we're looking at this summer exposure, but that would also be super helpful for the ice rink in the winter as well. And I just wanted to make sure that someone has thought about that part too.
Yes.
Because if it's put way over on the side, it won't be accessible to walk through the snow, etc. So.
Right. It's but basically this is the parking lot, and it would be right as close to the parking lot as you can get.
Right. Yeah. No. I mean that looks fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I felt pretty good about the siting, and obviously any comments that anyone has, I would be glad to pass along. I certainly didn't think of everything, and
so the only question I have is,
yep.
The only question I have, and I think you discussed it some, it sounds like, is there any chance of rotating it so it does face due south, or does it just really make sense to go at a southeast angle?
I think the southeast is going to be the best we can do, Steve. I really do. It seems to make the most sense from the pavilion point of view. And
Because they'll want to use it for a stage, right?
yeah, that's it. It's going to be
Yeah.
for stage and presentations
Yeah,
and
yeah.
music and all of that stuff. So, I think there's a strong, and I think that it would come across pretty well. It wouldn't be ideal from the point of view of, producing power, but it would be, strong producer of power. And I think we'd have something that we could really work with there. So, my sense would be to think in those terms. The other thing, apparently, this is except for the solar itself, this whole project would be handled out of a different pot of money. I suspect it would be a good deal less money than our original project would be expected. Also, just for reference purposes, there is already a power connection, a town power connection right in this area. So that they use for the ice rink and some lighting and stuff like that. So it would hook up very neatly that way. So I think it's a good solution. We'll have to see what actually starts to materialize when it does, but let's see. It looked pretty good to me when we were talking about it. So um, that's, and any comments that people might have, that would be great. I'd love to hear it. So the big question, and I was hoping to ask Graham, I'll have to check with him, is what are the actual dimensions of the panel units that we would be looking at, so that we might need to adjust the putative size of this thing to actually handle the power units themselves. So if
If
people
we,
are agree, what?
if we could get from Graham what he has for total width by length dimensions, that would be good.
Yes, that's what. Yeah, I had forgotten that he wasn't going to be here tonight. I was going to ask him, and then I noticed that he said, "Oh, I probably won't be there tonight." So okay, we all set with this one?
Yep.
I can stop sharing it and go back to just having a meeting. So
Glad you were able to make it
after,
today.
yep. I'm sorry.
Glad you were able to make it to the meeting today.
Oh yeah. No, I think that was definitely good. I will continue to pursue that. I'll continue kind of dealing with this one for the time being, if people are comfortable with that. Brad did suggest that there's not a lot of sense in going to the select board with this one quite yet. That it makes more sense just to work with because basically people are already aware of it, and it's being handled and so on and so forth, and the rec committee is kind of pursuing that. So it sounds like a kind of interesting and exciting possibility. So I'm kind of psyched about it actually. I felt pretty good about it, but people can go and check it out and see what you think, and we'll see where we go. Stop by the park and go see Brad's 4 yellow wands sticking in the ground. See what the thought process has been. So, and any comments welcome. That's for sure. So, are we good with that one?
Yes.
Okay, good. Now the community solar. I did pass along that information to Brad when I finally got a hold of him. He has put me on the agenda for the 16th. So I'm going to bring it to the select board, let them know that we're working on it, and I think we ought to just basically pick up and run with it. He didn't think there was any problem, when I sent him the information and described to him what we had been talking about. I think it's great. We should, get our information about, pull together the information we want to provide to landowners, start compiling a list of landowners that we're interested in talking to, and maybe we can get the solar group together to sort of, keep working on that. That would be my sense. Any comments, thoughts, questions?
So we're sure that we have phase 3 that's available now to Underhill Center, correct?
Well, I know I can see that it's made it to roughly just short of Sand Hill, not Sand, what's its road there? Not Sand Hill, the other one.
English
Um,
settlement? English
no,
settlement?
I'm sorry, Sand Hill, not Irish Settlement, right? It's between English Settlement and Irish Hill and Sandhill right now, but I think they're just taking a pause because they have new poles up, and I have been told that the plan is to carry it to Krug Road. That will be the terminus of three phase for that.
Okay. And
And
you
it's
got that from
what's that?
GMP or?
I don't even remember where that came from. There was a whole bunch of people talking to a whole bunch of people at one point. Peter may have even been involved in some of that. But it basically, I mean, it's physically available that far, and they're still putting up new poles as far as Krug Road.
Right.
So, I mean, it seems pretty, and they've got those, spreader units on top and everything. It's pretty apparent that it's coming. It just hasn't quite made it yet, but I think we can proceed on that basis with confidence. So I think we should, the question is, do we want to pursue anything anywhere else? And if that's the case, where? I mean, that obviously is the area for significant stuff, but do we want to reach out to any other landowners? Do we want to try to identify anything that looks like fallow land in other parts of town that is kind
I'd,
of sitting
I'd say
around?
as I'd say as time allows, we should do everything we can.
Okay, fair enough. Steve is being expansive today. He usually says, Michael, don't do that stuff. It's too much. We'll go with the
Not when you're
expansive today,
producing,
Steve.
not when you're producing renewable energy. Go for it.
Okay, now I know. Now I know how to get them. So yeah. So I think that maybe we should convene our little solar group and assign tasks of who's going to do what about collecting information about people and mapping and that sort of thing, and putting together a package of material that we want to get to people. Maybe a brief presentation that we could take around to people or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, we can decide how we want to proceed. What we need to do it and pursue it, I feel confident that. I mean, I suppose it's always possible the select board is going to say no, 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 but I would be very surprised if that were the case, given Steve's write-up and the conformance with town plan stuff. So um, anyway, that's where that stands right now. Any questions, comments, or further discussion?
So the next select board was the 15th,
16.
16th.
That Thursday anyway. I think it's the 16th. Pretty sure. I wouldn't mind some backup, but I'll be glad to do it if nobody shows.
The 16th at what time? Do you know?
It starts nominally at 6. I'm going to see if Brad can get me on early because for some reason I have 3 meetings that night.
I will plan on coming.
Great. Anyone is welcome. And I think it's a great little program. I think we could maybe get really somewhere with it if we give it a little bit of a shot. So, but I do think we ought to handle it. Get our little task group together and assign tasks that we think ought to be done. And the two that I thought of are A, identify landowners, and B, put together a package of materials for them, and then C, start reaching out to them. But it may be more complicated than that. So, okay.
Sounds good.
That said, we are well ahead of the game, and that's just fine with me. I've got member items and any other new business we want to talk about. Um, was it Steve? Were you the one who was going to a webinar today? Was it something we ought to know about?
If you want to know about Parkinson's and hallucinations, I could tell you.
Hallucinations are good. I'm going to try to avoid Parkinson's. I thought maybe you was. I know you do a lot of energy stuff, and I didn't know
Yeah,
if it was
no,
an energy one that we should maybe know about.
not today.
Not today. Okay. Well, I certainly wish you well. Don't do too much hallucinating, and definitely keep the Parkinson's down. So,
Really.
anybody have anything that they want to bring up? Any initiatives? Anything to talk about? I've been reading about. I guess the news. They're talking about more solar energy from space again, and all these different things. I don't send you everything I've run into, and hopefully you don't send me everything you run into either. But if you encounter anything really wild and wonderful, maybe it would be good. I did not get to Solar Fest this year, and just was a little oversubscribed, but it looked like it would be interesting to be there for that 1 day smaller condensed version that they did the end of October. So
I'll just throw out there. I don't know if anyone else saw this article in the Times about how that new rule that electric vehicles, they have their country of origin now has to be the United States to get the federal benefits, has actually decreased the number of people purchasing EVs, and apparently more people are simply now leasing them because that is there's a bit of an end around that the dealerships can make. So we'll see. I mean, until from what I could gather, until U.S. manufacturers start, building more plants and we make EVs here, we're looking at potentially a long time before people really start taking off and buying them. That was my takeaway, which was a little too bad because I felt like people were very ready and then they pulled the rug out from under their feet.
yeah, I'm of two minds on that myself. It's kind of, I can really see what they're trying to do with it, which is to build up our internal EV capacity. But at the same time, you're absolutely right. It makes it harder to get the EVs on the street. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Being of two minds is roughly equivalent to schizophrenia, so I guess. But
So
I did
we should
not see
probably
that one. But
put that in the minutes that Michael has schizophrenia.
I suppose you can if you want. But I might just edit that one out before I get done. On the other hand, MPD would maybe go. I might go for MPD, and that might go. So that said, my sense is we kind of right now we've got some stuff on the table. We're working on our projects. Keep them going. I think one thing that I have not discussed is, and I don't know if people are interested in me finding out more about it. I know in the past, Jericho has done like a variety of kind of educational events. They might have had a film or a talk or something like that. Is that, and we more or less decided we do not want to pursue it on our own. But is that something you would be interested in me finding out a little bit more about and seeing if they got anything going? And if we want to dovetail on that, I would be willing to do that.
I think if they need specific help from us, we might consider it, but I would just let them run the show. They've been doing a good job over the years.
Yeah, but I mean, just even pass the information around, just pass the information out and making it available
We
to, because
certainly can do that.
Jericho. Yeah, I was thinking, yeah, and make it available, make it known to ourselves, even what's going on, and just there might be something that we're interested in. So at the moment, I do not know of any what's going on all of that. I know that they've got a lot going on over in Jericho right now. They got a new select board member, and working on a new town plan and that sort of thing. So they got a lot on their plate. So see where it goes. And Catherine McMains, also, who has been the spark plug for Energy Task Force, is also chairing the select board. So she's got a lot going there. So that said, I would say, do we have anything agenda item? Oh, I'll tell you one thing I would like to discuss a little bit, and that is, should we think about any modifications to schedule or anything over the holidays or anything like that? Just basically plan to keep going with a modest meeting. I put that on your, open that up for discussion, I guess.
So we're just talking early December, right? So I mean,
Right.
that I'm available. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything plan for that Wednesday, but
Well, I'll just keep it on the agenda then, and we can get together and have a short meeting if we want to, and kind of keep track of what's going on and bring any information to one another's plates and so on. I guess I'm going to try to get in touch with Lori and see if she's still interested. We got her here to one meeting, and she did show up by phone a couple of times, but so I think I better check with her and find out if she's still interested. So, but we'll see where we go from there. I thought maybe when Steve had said something, he gave her some information about getting onto the Energy Committee, websites and stuff like that, or the Google Drive. Maybe that would precipitate something, but I guess not. So anyway, unless there's anything else, I would consider going. Well, actually, I had a little dinner earlier, but
I got a
hanging
question.
up my spurs. Jerry?
Yeah, I had a question for Dwight, for Friday at 11:30.
yep.
Whereabouts?
Let me just check here. I think it's Jackson Hill Road, but just let me bring up the UEC weatherization schedule on Google Drive. 41 Jackson Hill Road.
41 what road?
Jackson Hill Road.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I believe it isn't that on the right, just past New Road.
Yeah.
That one?
Yes.
Yeah, it's right past where Seth used to live, or right
Yep.
across from his new place.
Used to be called Karen Drive back in the days before Karen, what's her name, fell out of favor with her father.
Munson.
Munson, right? Yeah. Who used to shoot the dogs, shoot people's dogs and stuff like that.
Oh
I
man.
got a funny story about her. If anybody ever asked, but I can't say it on here.
Maybe after I turn the recording off.
I
Another
don't
time.
But Jerry, now you know what you can look forward to on Friday.
There you go. Okay. Anybody else have anything that we ought to be talking about? Nope. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So
So
move.
moved.
Did somebody move it?
Yes.
Okay. So the motion has been made. It's not discussable. All in favor of adjourning and moving on, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you all. And I think we just keep going, keep doing what we've been doing, and I think it's a pretty reasonable course right now. So, great. Thank you so much. Good night.
Okay, bye-bye.
Awesome.